What's up, YouTube? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I am so excited about today. I've been wanting to do this episode for a long time, but due to how busy Matthew is and due to how busy I am too, and the weather hasn't been that good recently, I think today is the perfect day for us to do this episode. We've already gone on the street and gotten some photos that we will be sharing with you guys. And today the episode is more about Matthew here because he is one of the guys that inspired me into getting into film photography, specifically film photography. He's one of those guys that inspired me into it. So I felt like it is going to be a great honor to have him on the channel and share with you some of his photos, his experience, why he got into film photography, why he got into street photography specifically, and why he do what he does. So before further ado, let's get started. So, welcome. It's great to have you on here.
Thank you,
Matthew. So, I wanted to, like what we were talking about off camera, I wanted to know why you decided to get into photography and why you decided to go with film photography.
Okay, so why I got into photography as a whole?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was a heroin addict for about 8 years. And after I got out of the detox center, I was rummaging through a box of my father's old stuff that I thought I'd gotten rid of. Well, I found his old Minolta XG1 that he got while he was in Germany. And I decided that I needed to spend more time doing something positive, and I figured out how to use it, figured out how to expose properly, and that's how I got into film.
Awesome. So you decided to pick up the camera as a sort of like therapy for yourself.
It's a coping mechanism with reality, yes.
Okay, but a lot of people get into film or photography, and then they get to some point and they decide to do something else, or they decide, maybe I think the reason why I picked up the camera, I have been able to overcome that. What kept you going? What kept you into still doing what you do?
Well, I switched to digital for about 6 months. I went to Sony, was what I could afford at the time, but it just didn't feel natural to me. I didn't enjoy it as much. The camera didn't inspire me the way my film cameras did.
I feel you, yeah, I feel you. So today when we were on the street, what I noticed was you going close to windows and taking photos. When you are coming out on the street, what makes you decide, today I'm going to shoot with this camera? Because I know you have a lot of cameras, like film cameras. So what makes you decide, today I'm going to pick up, which one is this?
This is my Voigtlander Bessa R.
Okay, what makes you decide, today I'm going to pick up this and then this focal length?
Okay, so I've been shooting a lot of color lately. Trying to develop my color eye instead of shooting black and white all the time. So the Voigtlander has the Noctin 1.5, which I can use at night. It has a nice wide open aperture. And the way it renders color with sign still and the 81B warming filter is just absolutely perfect. And I can zone focus, so I don't have to constantly sit there and focus the patch in the rangefinder. At f8 through f16, I can pretty much get everything in focus. So this is my go-to lately.
Awesome. I was like going through your Instagram, and there are some photos that really caught my eyes that I wanted to talk about. What made you decide to go for that photo? Did it just happen, or did you really see it and go for it? Have you been in trouble being on the street and stuff like that? But just saying that, have you ever been in trouble like taking a photo of somebody?
Oh, absolutely. few times, but the most recent occasion that stands out to me the most was photographing a card game at the VFW. The bar manager decided that street photography wasn't allowed anywhere and that in a public space nobody could take photos. So he called the sheriff on me.
So I guess this is the photo we are talking about, and you guys can see it. It's in the bar, and he took this photo, and the owner of the bar called the cops on him. And actually, today you were taking a photo of somebody through a window, and this guy came out and said we were not supposed to be there and taking photo of people inside a building. Do you think it's we have the legal right to like take photo of people inside a building when there is like a window?
Absolutely, as long as it's not a private residence, like somebody's house and using a telephoto lens. But as far as a restaurant goes and any public area where people can go dine and eat and have drinks and have a good time, yeah, for sure.
I love this photo. It looks like you used a flash,
Hmm.
and I personally I have tried to use flash before, which I think I've showed it on the channel before. But the way you do it, it's more candid than I did because I asked people if I could take the photo of them. But this looks like a candid shot. Like,
Hmm.
what made you use the flash?
Well, it was nighttime, and this was when I was going through my phase of being inspired by Bruce Gilden. Um, the way he was able to capture people's faces with the flash and their emotion, kind of a startle almost. It was really inspiring to me at the time.
And then you have, okay, so there is something that I find very like challenging when I go on the street is photographing women, and most especially old women. I've had an incident where I took a photo of this lady standing by the bus stop where she like ran like approached me, and ever since then I'm not saying I'm not going to be doing that again, but it has taken down my confidence in taking photos of women. And looking at this photo, if I was walking down the street and I see these ladies, I would have probably walked past them or asked them before. But look, this looks like a candid shot. So how did you get this photo?
Um, this was at the time in Circleville. There was a rally going on about a kid who had gotten murdered, and it was unjust. And these women were there supporting the family. And this lady with the white stringy hair and sitting in her walker just really caught my eye, and I snapped it. I shot at the hip at this time. So I held my camera down by my hip and
Took the
fired.
shot. It came out really good. Came out really good. Yeah. Today, what I seen that you do most of the time is instead of just walking about and like letting the shots find you, it's like you sit at a place and then get your frame right and wait for people to walk into it. Do you think that works for you, or do you think you just like do that so you don't have to like walk about?
It's something I've been practicing lately is subframing my subjects, and with the color that catches my eye, trying to incorporate the color, the subframe, and um, context of a story into the photograph.
That's really nice because I most of the time what I do is I walk on the street and I look further than what is very close to me so that I can try to find a subject or find a scene. Either I walk to it and take the photo or wait for them to come to me. So what you were talking about is I think it's good that we all learn that sometimes you just sit somewhere, get your frame right and wait for people to walk in and then get the shot. And you have some abstract too,
Mhm.
which is something that I have never been able to nail. And I seen Andy Grace is really good at that.
Andy Grizz is amazing.
Andy is really good at that. So this photo right here, I really love it. Can do you mind letting us know like what exactly was this?
This, I was sitting in my car.
So this was taken in your car.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay.
I was contemplating whether going out and shooting or not, and then I saw this red door in the background and the frame of the door. And I was just waiting for the perfect person to walk by. I think I went through 5 exposures on my roll of film, waiting for the perfect one. But the black umbrella with the black shade and the red, it made it perfect to me.
Awesome.
And I focused on the raindrops to add to the abstract.
Awesome. All right. So my last 2 questions before we end this whole thing is, do you have you have a lot of cameras, you've shot so many different types of films.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a specific camera or a specific film that you really like?
The camera that I am really in love with is my Olympus OM1. And I got 2 different films because I've been shooting color and black and white lately. Black and white HP5, pushed to 1600 always. And for color, Portrait 800 and pushed to 1600.
Okay, and you talking about that is going to be my last but one question. You always like to push your film, which is something I'm learning from you today. Why do you do that?
I push the film so I can get more shutter speed, faster shutter speeds, and I like the contrast that it gives with the more agitation during the development.
But then I think to me, what I've seen is when there is no sun, like when the sun is not really up bright, you don't really get that contrast. So when you push your film and there is no sun, does that help?
Yeah, it can add some contrast, but I mainly add the contrast in post because
Okay.
HP5 is a relatively flat film as it is.
And my very last question before we end this session or this episode is the reason why you got into film. Do you think, or the reason why you got into photography, do you think it has helped at all?
Oh, definitely. I'd be 2 years sober in March, and I don't think without taking a photo it would be that way.
That is awesome. That is really inspiring. And if there is anybody out there that is trying to get into film or photography or street photography uh, because of that, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to, if there's no cameras available, ask family, ask somebody's got a film camera lying around that they will loan you or give you, and then purchase a cheap $3 roll of Kodak Gold, go out and shoot.
And maybe I just like went to the thrift store a few months ago and bought myself, I got this Minolta Freedom for just $4. So you can always go to the thrift store.
There's always point and shoots lying around at thrift stores.
Yep. Well, guys, I'm going to end this episode here. We didn't have much time to talk. I would definitely have Matthew come. I always want to say the Ashton before the Matthew. Have Matthew come on the channel again, and we will really like talk into depth more about street photography and film photography in general. And if you don't know his work, his photos are amazing. I personally follow his work for a long time. His work inspired me, like I said before. So guys, I'm going to link his Instagram. Go check out his account, give him a follow, give him some love, all the good stuff that Instagram needs. Just go throw it on him. And don't always forget, go hit the streets, be safe, be creative, and always create to inspire. See you guys.